Thank you for joining us. I'm Aram Talegian, San Gabriel Valley Newspaper Group football writer, joined by Fred J. Robledo, the San Gabriel Valley Tribune prep sports editor, who is back from Cabo, tanned up and everything, looking good for the ladies. And Fred, when you come back from Cabo, that means one thing. It's the start of football season.
Right.
Once you're back kind of in this office, that kind of, I kind of like, equate this to like an opening drive touchdown. It kind of sets the tone for the season.
And it's a great feeling, too, because we got our football tab stories are done.
Right.
That's going to come out on August 30th. They're in production right now, putting it all together.
Right.
So this is our time of year now, really, to start building up towards those first games in September.
We have some other big things that we're working on that hopefully we'll be able to mention coming up on the blogs. But before we look forward, Fred, and kind of talk about what we're looking for this August and the next few weeks up until the first week of the season, let's look back a little bit. What stood out to you this summer, news-wise, passing circuit-wise?
Well, what stood out to me is what stood out to everyone else. I mean, you dubbed it the Summer of Santiago. He looked absolutely fantastic. Yeah. That was one of the first summer passing leagues that we went to of the year with JW North, Bishop Amat, and Charter Oak.
And Upland.
And he just looked incredible. I thought Rio looked well, too, for his part. But I think anywhere you've gone, people have talked about Travis and how pinpoint he's been. But there's some other guys you're going to have to watch out for. Steven Rivera at Arroyo, another one who's had a fabulous summer. Henry Omana over at Diamond Bar, he's been great. We're going to have Billy Livingston. There are a lot of great quarterbacks returning this year that you're expecting big seasons from. That's something you really want to look out for. That's why the Summer Passing League have been kind of exciting this year, because there's so many guys that you can kind of key on and kind of look at.
Now, the big news of the summer, though, was Rio Ruiz. It came out that he's going to miss a portion of the season while he concentrates on baseball and his Team USA activities. What impact do you think that has on Bishop Amat? I mean, I know, that makes me a little nervous, but what are your thoughts on that? He's going to miss 3 ball games?
Well, there's two things. One, he's going to be there for the second game against Servite, and that's the one that Bishop Amat has penciled on the calendar before you get into the Sarah League. That's the one where they find out where they're going to be. That's the number 1 ranked team in the state, might even be the nation for that part. Then Rio's going to leave for 3 games, and they're going to have a new guy in there at quarterback. But Aaron, this is a team that runs the ball a lot anyway. You have Zach Shea, coming back from injury, and Jalen Moore. You have those 2 guys. So I think offensively they're going to be okay. The big question is what Steve Haggerty does when Rio comes back. Now, it's supposedly, if the quarterback that they have in does a good job, then he's got a decision to make. I think Rio Ruiz is going to come back and be the quarterback no matter what. But nobody's inside Steve Haggerty's head. We don't know how that's going to work. But I think that with Rio expected to come back, he'll have 2 non-league games, and then the Sarah League starts, and then of course the Pac-5 playoffs. He's going to be there for the big games, whether he's at quarterback or they put him at receiver or he's in the secondary. He's going to be there. So,
or if he's at third base.
Right. And I don't think it's going to mess up their chemistry at all, because I think he's one of those guys that a lot of the players respect.
Of course.
And that's important. He's not one of these prima donna kids where, he's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be chemistry issues. I think they're beyond that. He's been there a year. They won a baseball championship under them. These are good kids over there, and they're gonna be fine.
Yeah, Fred. One of the things we saw this summer were the teams that were stacked, in the skill spots and had good quarterback situations coming back, like Arroyo and Steven Rivera and Diamond Bar and Omana and Charter Oak with Santiago, even Amat with Ruiz when he's there, but. One of the big concerns, kind of the 2 headliners from last year, Bonita and West Covina, both replacing veteran quarterbacks. I don't know, man. I mean, is that one of the things on your watch list to kind of see how those things take shape this August?
Well, in terms of West Covina, you have the Player of the Year returning Chris Solomon. You got a pretty good line on both sides. This is a team with a lot of athletes, and let's face it, George Johnson was a good 3-year starting quarterback, and he managed that offense. But he wasn't some guy who was going to throw for 300 yards. He was going to hand the ball off. He was going to make good decisions, and that's all West Covina needs. In Bonita's situation is a little different because Coach Podley likes to air it out. I mean, that's what his offense is about. So grooming that guy to take over. I mean, you've seen them in the past. I mean, what do you think of what they got?
I think they're a little shaky at quarterback, and that stands to reason because there's not much experience there. The guy that's going to be that's going to get the first crack is Tanner Diebold. He's going to be a sophomore. They've called him. They've nicknamed him Sunshine over there. I can't help but think to that first week of the season when you're going to have West Covina playing Covina, breaking in a brand new quarterback. West Covina will be, and then a couple days before that, you're going to have Bonita playing San Dimas, and they're going to be breaking in a brand new quarterback for them. Any shot, Freddie? I'll ask you this as kind of our parting question here. Any shot that those two teams lose on the opening weekend? Covina beats West Covina and San Dimas beats Bonita?
No way in the world does Covina beat West Covina. I just don't see. I know they've got, I just think that's one where West Covina owes them. They're not going to take their foot off the gas like they did with 5 minutes to go in the game last year. It was a game they owned for 3.5 quarters. I know that's going to anger some Covina folks, especially when you have Livingston coming back. Yeah. You got Vinny Venegas, Javante Ainsworth, and Coach Daryl Thomas does a great job. I just think West Covina is too big for him, and like I said, they're gonna step on the gas in this game. I won't be San Dimas. I won't be surprised. Look, I thought last year Bonita, that senior class in football and all sports, was one of the best senior classes they've had in a long time.
Right.
They lose.
Not even girls sports.
Yeah, they lose an awful lot. I'm not sure what to expect out of them. They're my big question mark. I don't even think they're the second best team in the Hacienda right now. I really like what Diamond Bar has done during the summer.
Welcome to the bandwagon.
I like what Coach Ryan Main is about. The times we've spoken to him.
He's have Diamond Ranch too.
In Diamond Ranch, Coach Roddy's always got his team right there. I think you're going to see Roland kind of step away a little bit. I think you meant those are the three teams, Aram. West Covina, Diamond Ranch, Diamond Bar, and we could throw in Bonita. Those are going to be the four teams.
Right.
I'm not sure what to expect from Walnut this year. They lost a pretty good senior class too.
Right.
And then there's Los Altos, which God, who knows?
They need league relief.
We're rooting for Coach Ziola over there.
But Fred, as we'll wrap this up now, it's kind of nice that we don't have Transfergate to deal with yet. At least we'll see what comes out with the.
We'll check with the CIF offices to see exactly how many people Damien has transferred in over there.
Right. Like last year we had to deal with that, and then we were also dealing with new leagues and new divisions for our teams. This year, everything's more kind of settled in, I believe. I don't think Transfergate will be as bad as it was last year because I think people are realizing it's nearly impossible now to transfer without some kind of hiccup in your giddy up or whatever you want to say. It just seems tougher for these kids to do that now, and I think a lot less of that will happen. I think that would be hitching your giddy up.
Let me ask you, I want to get your take on some of the teams and expectations this year. What do you expect from someone like South Hills? I mean, they're getting Canada's finally out there. After 3 years, you're finally going to see a Canada don a South Hills uniform and be able to play. What are your thoughts on what they have?
Well, I saw them. Their defense was terrible last year. I believe they averaged 35 points a game allowed in league. The defense, not the offense, is to me what needs to get taken care of. But you know what? South Hills is like any other team that I've kind of seen this summer. No, everyone kind of has like that one knock on them that leaves them as a question mark. West Covina set athlete-wise. They got questions at quarterback. We talked about Bonita. They got a lot of good guys back in the skill spots. They have questions at quarterback. Ahmad has the Rio Ruiz question. I mean, you can just go right down the list. With South Hills, there's nobody questioning Jamel Hart, Vince Hernandez, and Jamie Canada even on the offense. The question is that defense. So that's what's so interesting about everything. I'd say Covina's probably the only team out there without some glaring question mark. That's what I noticed this summer.
I heard Hernandez looked great. And I'm one of those big Jamal Hart guys. I think that he's arguably the best running back in the area.
He's very good.
He's right there. Another team I'll throw out at you. We don't know much about Pomona. I hear they've got a lot of guys coming in. They're the big mystery team. Where are they going to be in the whole Valley Vista League?
Well, I mean, obviously, if you read the blogs, we have somebody blowing up the blogs much the same way they did last year with Wilson. It's hard to tell. I've talked to a lot of Pomona people that have called me, and they're kind of horrified by what they're reading on the blogs. They don't appreciate the target that's been placed on their backs. We're going to find out. Pomona plays a pretty decent non-league. I mean, they're going to play Chino Hills at one point in the non-league. I don't know what to make of this team yet. I've heard good things about the talent. I've also heard that they'll be no better than what they were last year. So that's a big question mark. That'll be one of the. I guess they're the wild card, as you would put it, in the Valle Vista League. But yeah, you're right. That's an interesting thing to kind of keep track of.
And real quick, last thing, week 2, who has a better chance of pulling the upset? Bishop Amat winning at Servite or West Covina winning at Loyola?
Bishop Amat at Servite. That's going to do it for us for now. We will be back probably with more video updates pretty soon. Fred's back. I'm back. Get ready for the season, folks. We'll talk to you soon.